If you have really severe eczema, burning skin, redness on your skin, really severe psoriasis, then you might want to watch this IG Live where I'm going to talk about topical steroid withdrawal. This is also called red skin syndrome, and this is something that happens quite often because steroids are really one of the main types of medications that conventional doctors are prescribing, as we all know. As soon as you have a skin problem, that's really the first type of medication that your doctor is prescribing you. And this is a big problem because these steroid creams are actually mimicking your own steroid hormones. And your own steroid hormones are a steroid hormone called cortisol, which is a stress hormone that is released by your adrenals. And the other thing to know is that your skin cells actually release the same type of hormone. And so what your doctor is doing when they are giving you steroid creams is they are actually giving you those creams to lower inflammation in those areas. And of course, that's going to help to lower the eczema, psoriasis, or other skin problem that you're maybe applying these topical steroids on. But this is a big problem. This is just like taking a hormone. It's just like it is taking a hormone. It's not like taking a hormone. It is taking a hormone. And this is a problem, right? Because your body is supposed to be making those hormones. And what happens is when you're giving your body an external version of a hormone, it's going to down-regulate the production of that hormone. So what happens is that your skin cells stop producing their normal levels of cortisol that they should be producing because your body gets really dependent on that steroid or topical steroid that you're putting on. Okay, and so this is what happens in topical steroid withdrawal. And it's a big problem because a lot of times it goes undiagnosed. Actually, the way that people are finding out about topical steroid withdrawal is through social media, because a lot of people are posting their pictures and they're figuring this out on their own, that they stopped their steroids and then all of a sudden their skin became, first of all, the first symptom that you might experience is burning. And that's really the predominant symptom that you might experience. And then you might get a redness all over your skin, which is really kind of different than the eczema, but it's sometimes hard to tell because it's kind of mixed in with your eczema, your psoriasis, and then now all of a sudden there's this topical steroid withdrawal symptoms. There's a lot of other symptoms. However, those main ones really are the burning and the redness. And then, of course, if you've used topical steroids for a long time, especially on your face or your genital area, you might have more of these topical steroid withdrawal symptoms. But it can really be a plethora of symptoms that you're getting when you have TSW. And it includes weeping, flaking, shedding of your skin, peeling of your skin, wrinkling of the skin. You might also see a thinning of the skin, which is also a side effect of using topical steroids, pus-filled bumps, and then you might even notice things like fatigue, depression, because as I said, these hormones that you're putting on your skin, they actually are similar to your own hormones. And not only do topical steroids have skin side effects, like I said, the thinning of the skin, the changes of your color, hypopigmentation, so maybe your skin color gets a little bit lighter than it should. There's also these systemic effects, and that's a problem. And the bigger problem is these systemic effects are worse on our children because children actually have thinner skin. And the thinner skin of the children means that they are actually absorbing these topical steroids more readily into their systems. And the problems with this is really a bigger problem than just the skin problem, which is growth retardation, and then also something called iatrogenic Cushing syndrome. And Cushing syndrome, some of the main kind of features of that, it's a problem of cortisol. And of course, you're taking cortisol through your creams, and then this is absorbing into the system, and now the cortisol levels of the body are going to be all messed up. And for our kids, this is so important. So if you have a child and you're using the steroid creams, I urge you to get treated by a naturopathic doctor. I do discovery consultation so I can kind of understand what's going on, help you out to take your child off those steroid creams. But now, just like any other drug, for example, if you were on like an anti-anxiety medication, you wouldn't just want to remove that medication, immediately. You do want to consider weaning off it slowly, especially if you've been using it for so long, okay? If you've been using it for a long time, wean off of it slowly, okay? But those symptoms of Cushing's, some of the main ones, if you're using steroid creams and you kind of want to know, oh my gosh, do I have Cushing's? Or, is this a problem I need to be paying attention to? Is a moon face. You might notice a lot of truncal obesity, so a lot of kind of like fat in the area of your trunk. And then a buffalo hump is another one that you may notice. If you notice in yourself, then you might want to consider getting checked for Cushing's syndrome, which could be related to you using topical steroids. And this is with a lot of topical steroid use. And then kids are kind of the most common that you might see this because of their thin skin, okay? Now, what is happening with TSW? So you're using your steroid creams and you're using them and all of a sudden you decide you want to stop using them. Now, what might happen is, within a couple of days to weeks, you're going to get a burning of your skin. Then you might get a redness all over your skin, almost like you just had a sunburn all over your skin. And those are the two main symptoms that you might have. But along with that, you may have other symptoms, and your skin might get weepy and crusty, and it will literally kind of be everywhere. Another thing you might notice is periorbital dermatitis. So a rash around the mouth is really common as well too. And again, there's a lot of reasons, and we're, in the medical community, this is something that's not exactly, not every dermatologist is kind of knows how to diagnose this or potentially even believes in it. But those who have TSW know that this is something really real. And, there's a lot of ideas as to what's going on. So number one is that you're using these topical steroids and, eventually they will actually stop working because just like anything else, your body gets kind of used to it and they'll start working. You're just going to need more and more and more and more. And there potentially could be a point when it just won't work anymore. Your steroid cream won't work anymore. And then, and then you stop using it and now you get TSW. So that's one way that it sometimes happens. When you stop using this topical steroids, you can have a dysregulation of your glucocorticoid receptors. And those are the receptors that the steroid is binding to. And when there's a dysregulation there, then basically you stimulate these pro-inflammatory genes. And so your body starts creating all this inflammation. And that's what you really see in TSW. It's like the skin is on fire is really what it feels like, okay? And then you'll get this rebound, what's called vasodilation. One of the things that the topical steroids are doing is it's actually vasoconstricting. So it's kind of constricting those vessels so that you can lower the inflammation, right? And so when you remove those topical steroids, you're going to have this vasodilation effect, which is why the redness occurs. Okay, so that's the redness that happens all over the skin. And then with topical steroids, you're actually messing up the barrier of your skin. And so as a lot of us know who use topical steroids, thinning of the skin is a big problem. And I even have that from, for those of you guys who have been following me, you know that I had eczema. I had severe eczema. What I'm wearing right now, I would have never worn, more than a decade ago when I had eczema all over my arms, all over here. And I still suffer from having, thin skin in certain areas where I used to use a lot of those topical steroids, like over here and over here. You could definitely see my vessels a lot more. Over time, I noticed that my skin was getting really thin. So what happens in those areas is the barrier of your skin is really getting broken down. There's a dysfunction in the barrier of your skin. That skin is getting thinner. And then what we notice is there happens to be a lot of water loss because that barrier is actually keeping the moisture in the skin. So a lot, I remember this when I had really severe eczema. It was like I couldn't hold moisture in my skin, and I had to like slather on all of the lotions and the Waxoline and the Aquaphor back then and the Vaseline back then in order to keep the barrier strong. And one of the reasons is because using topical steroids can really lower that barrier and cause dysfunction in the barrier. So when that happens, it actually increases your cytokines, which again then increases inflammation. So as you can see, all of these problems related to using topical steroids is really ends up being that you have all this inflammation, more inflammation than before, okay? So like you're using it to take down the inflammation, and it's almost like you're kind of like carrying yourself, and then all of a sudden you drop yourself and now the body's, you just fall. And it's a big problem. People can, very slippery slope. It's a big problem, and people can be suffering from this for years and not know about it. And then, as I said, there's this whole problem of the steroids stop working. So even if you tried using the steroids again, now your body may be unresponsive. Because there's a dysregulation of those receptors, and you're now unresponsive. And so now people can be left in this place where you're using steroids and it's not working. And then, you have nothing else to do. And then that's where people kind of look into things like Dupixent and other medications, and just you're increasing what you're doing. Now you're doing shots every 2 weeks, and then that eventually stops working. And this is a big problem. So if you're using topical steroids right now, so a couple things. If you're using topical steroids right now, I highly suggest you consider weaning off of those, but you need a plan if you are going to wean off of those. So I suggest working with someone like myself. I'm a naturopathic doctor that really specializes in skin diseases like eczema, psoriasis, etc. Or someone like myself. And I really, I stress a naturopathic doctor just because we are going to look at things from a root cause perspective instead of wanting to give you topical steroids, right? We don't want to do that. We want to find the root cause. So finding someone you can work with who can wean off of those. I have a lot of protocols that I use with people. Getting diagnosed and just identifying that you even have a problem is also one of the first things. Your dermatologist may not recognize you have TSW, may not even know what TSW is, and may say, oh, that's just something that's made up from social media, and it's really not, right? People who are going through it know that it's really something that's real. So get diagnosed, identify what it is. And if you do want to work with me, I do have discovery consultations where we can meet. And if you decide that you want to do that, from today's live, I am offering a discount of $100, and you can use the code TSW if you go on my website and join the discovery consultation. It's $100 off of the discovery consultation. And with that discovery consultation, if you decide to join us, that visit actually becomes free. We just put it towards your treatment, okay? So if you want to get diagnosed, that's number one, okay? Use the code TSW. The link is in my bio, and TSW, thank you, means topical steroid withdrawal. Okay, that's what that means, topical steroid withdrawal. It's also called red skin syndrome because, as I said, the skin gets all red and it gets inflamed and hot, and that's a big problem, okay? All right, number 2, what do you do? Ice and cold can be really helpful. So like ice packs, cold showers, cryotherapy. And why is that? Well, that will cause a vasoconstriction. So remember I said there's a vasodilation, which causes all that redness and pain and burning. So the cold will actually cause a vasoconstriction. Also, you'll lower those inflammatory cytokines. You'll lower the inflammation in the skin with things like cryotherapy, cold therapy, ice. Okay, so that can be really helpful in terms of getting you through. And then working with someone like myself, a naturopathic doctor who is familiar with TSW. Not everyone is going to be familiar with TSW, but a skin-specific naturopathic doctor may be familiar with TSW. We need to work on, what's happening systemically, potentially with your own steroid hormones like cortisol. So we could measure those, and potentially there's been some systemic effects. If you are experiencing fatigue, depression, more systemic effects, along with your redness of your skin and your burning, we will want to look into that. And that can be really helpful to help your body kind of learn how to create cortisol again, and kind of jumpstart your system in terms of creating those steroid hormones and not being dependent on the external source of the cortisol. Okay, so that can be really helpful, and that you definitely need to work with a naturopathic doctor like myself. Again, one who understands TSW and is skin specific would be really important. And that's how we tackle it. Okay, so we kind of use different therapies to kind of lower the inflammation. We could do that. Systemically with oral options. Your best option without using a naturopathic doctor right now, or seeing one, is cold therapy. So trying things like cryotherapy, ice packs, cold showers. Those are really great for kind of lowering that inflammation, and then working on those adrenals. And everything that you can do to lower your stress is going to be helpful, which is a really hard thing to say because when you have TSW, you're also very stressed out, right? It's not fun. It's painful. Your skin's burning. It's red. It's weeping. It's really, living with this is very difficult. And I actually went through a bout of this as well myself when I decided to stop topical steroids. And the other thing was because I was pregnant. So I didn't want to use those steroid creams because I knew it would affect my hormones and it would affect my baby. And so I didn't want to use those. And that's when I personally had some symptoms of topical steroid withdrawal. Okay. So I'd love to open it up to any questions that anybody has about topical steroid withdrawal. I may have missed some of the questions as I was doing my little spiel there. Again, if you guys want to get diagnosed, identify if you have topical steroid withdrawal, then I am offering a discount of $100 off of my discovery consultation, and that code is TSW. So if you're going to go ahead and schedule a discovery consult, make sure to put that in, TSW. The code will expire tonight, which is June 7th at midnight. Okay, so make sure you use it by tonight. Okay. Question: how do you know if your TSW is almost over? Well, if it's getting better, if you started at a certain place and it's incrementally getting better, then, that's a really good sign. Hard to know if it's almost over or not. What I would also say is, why were you, another thing we need to address is not just the TSW, but why were you using the steroids in the first place? And is that because you had eczema? Did you have psoriasis? What did you have that you were using these steroid creams? And we need to fix that problem. And that problem goes deeper. If you guys want to learn about how I get down to the root cause and really address the root of the problems, I am doing a live masterclass tomorrow at 11 a.m. The link is in my bio as well too. If you click the link, there's a button that says book a consultation. There's also a button that says free masterclass, and you guys can join that masterclass there. And then I explain in that class, and I do slides and things like that to really explain how do we get down to the root cause of why you have TSW in the first place, which is because you had eczema likely, right? Does the TSW ever end? Will we ever get normal skin that doesn't require any help or extra work besides normal healthy lifestyle and diet? So what I would have to say is I am the walking billboard as to it will end if you get down to the root cause. As I said, I would have never been wearing this. In my masterclass, I actually show when I had eczema and I'm wearing like a turtleneck, a long sleeve turtleneck, and it's like summertime. And all of us who have eczema know that that's what you do because you want to cover your skin. You don't want people to see the eczema. And I purposely kind of wear things that show my arms on these IG lives because I want to show you guys that I don't no longer have the eczema. The one thing that might stay and linger for that person who asked is potentially the thinning of the skin. It can come back over time, but my skin is still pretty thin on the areas I used to put a lot of steroid creams, like over here, which you can't see is covered right now, but over here I used to put a lot of steroid cream there because I had a lot of eczema in those areas, and my skin is a little bit thin there. But I personally don't like taking supplements, so I don't really take supplements on a daily basis. I don't have to, because if you live and eat and, breathe and just do all the things you're supposed to do on a daily basis, that's really all you should need. And I have a very healthy diet. I do live on an 80-20 rule. So if your question is, do you avoid gluten all the time, Dr. Fong, or dairy all the time? Do you not drink any wine? No, I do those things, about 20% of my life. And that's my choice. And I decide to do cleanses twice a year to keep myself really clean. And it is my choice to not have an extremely strict diet. And my eczema never comes back. It hasn't come back in almost a decade now. And also that TSW that I had, when I had to stop those steroid creams, that went away because I did adrenal work, adrenal support, etc. And so the answer to your question is absolutely it can get better, but it only if you get down to the root cause and you truly get to the root cause of the problem and you fix that root cause. That's how you can clear it, because if you get down to the root, you will no longer have, all these symptoms popping up. They just won't be there, okay? And we do have to do some work to stimulate systemic steroid hormones that may have been suppressed because you were using topical steroids, okay? So that's some extra work that we need to do in addition to actually addressing the root cause of why you had eczema, psoriasis, whatever skin issue you had in the first place, okay? All right, guys, I'd like to open it up to any other questions before I head out. Today we are talking about topical steroid withdrawal. Betty, we're talking about topical steroid withdrawal. This is when you have been using steroid creams on your skin for a long, long time because of eczema or something like that. And you take it out and then all of a sudden your skin gets red and it's burning and your doctor has no idea. Your doctor thinks this is just eczema, but it's not. It's more than eczema. It's topical steroid withdrawal, okay? What is the root cause in most? Oh, I missed it. But the root cause in most, guys, I will talk about it in a masterclass. If you can't come to my live tomorrow at 11 a.m., I do have a replay of it going on, my replay from last week. I do explain that. I also explain it on my website if you click the link in my bio. But just to give you a little overview right now, I like to say that everybody has a detox funnel, okay? Your detox funnel is made up of all your detox organs. That's your gut, your kidney, your liver, your gallbladder, okay? So what happens? Well, over time, we are filling up this funnel because we are just abusing these detox organs with bad food, bad lifestyle, alcohol, environmental toxins that we sometimes don't even know we're being exposed to, heavy metals, etc. And then what's happening? All of those issues are causing this funnel to overflow. When it overflows, where is it going to overflow to first? It is going to overflow through your skin, okay? Because potentially your gut's not working well, your kidneys not working well, and now when these exit points aren't working well, your skin is gonna get the brunt of it. So a lot of us who have eczema, potentially we have a lot of toxins in our body, a lot of inflammation, and everybody's root cause is gonna be different. So we need to examine those 4 detox systems: your gut, your kidney, your liver, your gallbladder. We need to understand if they are congested. They are always congested in a skin issue, okay? Always. That's not even a question. They're always congested. But for you, it might be different from this person or for me. For me, what the problem was my mom had mercury amalgams in her mouth. These are metal fillings in her mouth, and those metal fillings are 50% mercury. That 50% mercury was leaking into her body, and when I was in her belly, when she was pregnant with me, I was absorbing that mercury through her placenta, or through the placenta, and then through the breast milk when she was breastfeeding me. And that was a big problem. And the pediatrician said, I think your daughter's allergic to your breast milk. And what it really potentially was she was feeding me all these toxins. And that's why my skin was overflowing and I had severe, severe eczema, okay? What would be the case with chronic urticaria? Urticaria, for those of you guys who don't know, it's hives, okay? And hives is absolutely this problem. The body is trying to release these toxins out through the skin, and you're seeing them as little, bumps on the body, okay? How long of using steroid creams does it take to get TSW? You're going to be using it potentially daily, and you're using it for quite a bit of time, and I would say for everyone it's a little bit different, but at least longer than like 3 weeks or more. And it doesn't even have to be daily potentially, but if you are using steroid creams now, I would recommend you don't use it daily. It's kind of like coffee, right? Coffee itself is like a drug, right? And it really messes up your hormones as well too. If you drink it every day, your body's gonna get used to it. You're gonna have withdrawal symptoms like headaches if you stop. But if you're only drinking coffee twice a week, your body doesn't get used to it, okay? We're creatures of habit. Our body gets used to what we're doing on a daily basis. If you did it every day for 3 weeks or longer, your body might start to get used to it, okay? But the longer you're using it, of course, the worse this is gonna be. And especially if you're using it on your face or your genital areas, or if you've done oral steroids, that can be a problem too. I know I missed a bunch of questions. If you guys can type them up again, I'll answer those. What about severe back acne? All right, severe back acne is potentially a problem of hormone dysfunction. That's more of an issue there, more than likely. And that hormone dysfunction is still because the funnel's full. Why is that? Because the funnel is not only detoxing toxins, it's also metabolizing your hormones, okay? So if you have that severe acne, your funnel is likely still full, so it's still the same problem, but again, maybe different reasons that it's full, okay? Thank you, Betty. Thank you for saying my hair is so pretty. I actually have a story about that. When I was a kid, I had so much eczema everywhere that I would scratch so much that all my hair fell out. And I don't know, but when it grew back, it grew really like thick. And now with all the health in my body and the nutrients that my body can absorb, and all of that, I find that my hair is really strong. So thank you for saying that. Did you have eczema since birth, or when did it start? Or since you mentioned mercury was passed? Yes, I had eczema since birth. I came out with eczema, and I had it all the way since infancy, and I conquered it, let's see, about 8 years ago now. I conquered it about 8 years ago. And the story behind that is, I had this TSW, severe eczema experience, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to see a naturopathic doctor. The naturopathic doctor kind of treated me in 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks, I noticed some changes, and that was it. I was like, I'm going to naturopathic med school. I went to naturopathic med school. I learned how to get to the root cause. And then when I got out of naturopathic med school, I still had about 25% eczema. In med school, I probably cleared about 75% of my eczema. And then I kind of had about 25% left. A year out of med school, I decided to take a deep dive and really do research and trial and error and really get down to the root cause of my eczema, because I felt that I can't treat people if I still have problems, right? Like, I really need to get down to the root cause. In that year, I discovered all this stuff that's actually in my program now. And I give all the education to anybody who works with me. And I created these protocols that I did that are really awesome. They work really fast to get down to the root cause. And I've been eczema free ever since. So not only that, IBS as well too. So like, I had IBS, I had gut symptoms. I had headaches and migraines all the time. I had PMS and hormone dysfunction. I mean, you name it, right? Like, if you haven't fixed it by the time you're in your 20s or your 30s, you likely don't just have skin issues at this point. You have multiple issues at this point, right? Because you haven't fixed the root cause. And because you haven't fixed the root cause, your body's just going to continue to create what I like to call alarm systems. They're really just telling us that there's a problem in the body, okay? Supplement recommendation for TSW to protect against thinning skin. I missed the rest of that. So the only thing to do to protect that is stop using the steroid cream, okay? Because the steroid cream is thinning your skin. And then we need to actually heal the internal body so that the body can actually bring nutrients to the skin. The other thing we can do is actually do topical. I compound topicals that have vitamins in them that can kind of help the skin to heal a little faster, okay? Is there such thing as skin thickening because of eczema? That's why my son was prescribed steroid creams to heal that skin thickening. Yes, that is another possibility. When there's a lot of damage to the skin, there could then become skin thickening. I don't think I agree with, using a steroid cream to thin the skin. I think, that may cause other problems. Yeah, that might thin the skin down, but it may also cause other problems. So I would kind of be careful with how I do that. Again, working with myself or someone like a naturopathic doctor may be a good approach in terms of just kind of making sure you're not causing more problems than trying to fix a problem, okay? Do you have a protocol for psoriasis? So all of my protocols are customized to the person. Essentially what I do is I look at your funnel. I assess every level of your funnel, your gut, your kidney, your liver, your gallbladder. And we figure out what toxins are potentially filling that funnel. And we start cleaning it up. So the protocols are a gut protocol, a kidney protocol, a liver, and a bile flush protocol. But based on what toxins you have, I may, manipulate those protocols based on what you have. For psoriasis, I find really commonly parasites, I find heavy metals, I find environmental toxins, I find lead and mercury really commonly, I find candida really commonly. So we might do protocols based on those, okay? What supplements to take I missed it. I'm in New York, any naturopathic doctor suggestions? So for all of you guys, I actually treat completely virtually, and that's because a lot of what we do is we're going to be testing your organs, we're going to be testing your heavy metals, we're going to be testing your food intolerances, parasites. We're gonna test you, okay? So we're actually doing everything virtually. I'm gonna send those kits to you. You're gonna do a lot in terms of journaling. We have an app. You're gonna journal your poop, your skin, your food. We wanna know everything about you. We wanna know your story, how you're living, what you're eating, what you're doing. And then we send you these kits that you're gonna collect your stool, your blood, etc. And then we find out what is the problem. And then I prescribe all these protocols to treat. And then we have myself and a coach. We're going to be your team. And we team up to really support you through the process, okay? I am having a masterclass tomorrow, a free live one at 11 a.m. If you can't make that, there's a replay on my website as well too. And also, I am also offering $100 off my discovery consult today based off of this IG Live. And the discovery consult discount is TSW. You'll get $100 off, and that expires at midnight tonight, okay? I do treat kids. I will have to say that kids are a big population that I treat because eczema is such a big problem for kids. Why? Because it's typically the first alarm system that goes off. It's the first alarm system that goes off when our funnel is overflowing, okay? If you guys just got here, I will be playing this replay. I'll be posting it. But the other thing is I have a masterclass tomorrow if you guys want to watch that or the replay. But their funnels are overflowing. So with my pediatric patients, eczema is the most common thing I treat because your child's body is saying, hey, there's a problem. There's a problem. Mom, dad, doctor, can you figure out what is the root cause of the problem? And instead of actually finding the root cause, we're giving our kids steroid creams. This is a big, big, big problem because our kids are more susceptible to steroid creams because their skin is extremely thin and they're absorbing this systemically, and this could potentially cause growth retardation. It can cause iatrogenic Cushing syndrome, which is a hormonal problem for our kids. This is not what we want to be doing. We need to find out what the root cause is. So with me, we are doing a lot of testing, and we're also doing this testing on the kids. We're testing for food intolerances. We're testing for heavy metals. We're testing for environmental toxins. We're testing for gut microbiome problems. We're doing all this testing to figure out what could be imbalanced. And then I'm creating protocols so that we can fix all of these problems, okay? All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today for my IG Live about TSW, topical steroid withdrawal, also known as red skin syndrome. If you did miss this live, I will be posting it right after this so you can watch the beginning of it. This is an extremely important topic if you have severe eczema, and you're not being able to treat it, that you're taking steroids and it's just not working. I kind of talk about this in this live. Also, if you want to learn a lot more about my protocols and how I treat and how I healed myself, I'm going to be doing a live masterclass tomorrow at 11 a.m. There's also a replay if you can't make that time, and you guys can register for that in the link in my bio. There's once you click that link, there's a button that just says free masterclass. And then also I am offering $100 off a discovery consultation with me. That is a 30-minute consultation where I'll get to know you, I'll hear your story, and really let you know how I might help you if I think you have TSW and how we might go about treating that and helping you. And that will expire. The code is TSW, so pretty simple. TSW, T as in Tom, S as in Sam, W as in woman. And that will be $100 off the discovery consultation. If you do decide to join us, that discovery consultation becomes free, and we put that towards your treatment with us. Okay? All right, guys, have a great night. And if you missed it again, you'll be able to watch the replay. All right? All right. Hope to see you guys maybe at my masterclass tomorrow. Have a great night, everyone. Bye-bye.